Commander Vokthar stood tall on the bridge of the Galactic Alliance flagship, his forearms crossed over his armored chest. But his scales gleamed under the artificial lights, shifting from deep purple to midnight blue as he moved. The command center bustled with activity as various species from across the known universe prepared for first contact with the newly discovered planet. "So these are the humans we have been monitoring." Vokthar's voice rumbled like distant thunder. "They look soft." He snorted, a puff of vapor escaping his nostril slits. Lieutenant Pax, a sleek, feline-like being with 6 eyes arranged in a circle around her head, nodded. "Yes, Commander. Planet designation Sol 3, or as the natives call it, Earth. Our scouts report they are a pre-warp civilization with rudimentary space travel capabilities." "Weapons assessment?" Vokthar asked, tilting his massive head. "Primitive nuclear devices, projectile weapons, some directed energy research." "Nothing that could threaten our vessels," reported Security Chief Drezek, a hulking reptilian with bony plates protruding from his spine. His species, the Kravak, were renowned throughout the galaxy as elite warriors. They are physically weak compared to most spacefaring species. No natural armor, dull senses, and no significant defensive capabilities. Vokthar laughed, the sound like rocks grinding together. "Perfect. The Council has ordered us to establish a monitoring outpost on their moon. We will need a small team to make direct contact with their leaders to negotiate resource extraction rights. Is that wise, Commander?" Pax's whiskers twitched nervously. "The protocol suggests caution when dealing with unknown species," Vokthar interrupted, waving a dismissive hand. "But look at them. Hairless primates who have barely left their atmosphere. The Kravak alone could conquer their entire planet in a standard cycle if we wanted." Drezek puffed out his chest. "Without question, Commander. My warriors train from hatching to be the apex predators of any environment. These humans would pose no challenge." "Exactly," Vokthar nodded. "Which is why I'm sending you, Drezek, with a squad of your finest warriors for this diplomatic mission. Show these humans our strength, but don't harm them, unless necessary." His mandibles clicked in amusement. "The Council wants cooperation, not domination for now." Pax's ears flattened against her skull. "Commander, our xenopsychology team suggests a more subtle approach. Humans might respond negatively to intimidation tactics." "Nonsense. All species respect strength. It's universal." Vokthar waved away her concerns. "Drezek, prepare your squad. You leave in 6 hours." The Kravak diplomatic vessel landed with pinpoint precision on the designated coordinates, a military base in a region the humans called Nevada. A welcoming committee waited at a safe distance, a mix of military personnel and government officials. Inside the ship, Drezek addressed his warriors. "Remember, we represent the Galactic Alliance. Show these primitives our superiority, but follow diplomatic protocols. No weapons unless I give the order." His second-in-command, Razak, a slightly smaller but no less intimidating Kravak with vibrant red markings across his scales, nodded. "The crew is eager to see these humans up close, Commander. Our analysis suggests they are among the weakest sentients we have encountered." "Indeed, this should be amusing." Drezek's lips pulled back to reveal rows of serrated teeth, the Kravak equivalent of a smile. "Let's not keep our new subjects waiting." The airlock hissed open, and 7 Kravak warriors marched down the ramp in perfect formation. Each stood nearly 8 feet tall, their muscular bodies covered in natural armor plating, tails sweeping behind them for balance. The humans visibly recoiled as the aliens emerged. Drezek approached what appeared to be the leader, a male human in a decorated uniform. "Greetings, Earth representative. I am Security Chief Drezek of the Galactic Alliance. We come with an offer for your world." The human male stepped forward, impressively steady despite facing creatures from another world. "General Frank Thompson, United States Army. On behalf of the United Nations, welcome to Earth." Razak leaned close to Drezek and whispered, They are even smaller than the images suggested. Look how they tremble. Dresik suppressed a laugh. General Thompson, we require a secure location to discuss matters of galactic importance. Your leaders must be informed of your planet's new status. Thompson nodded stiffly. We have prepared a conference room, if you will follow me. As they walked, humans scattered from their path, staring with wide eyes at the towering aliens. Dresik noted their reactions with satisfaction, his tail swishing slightly, a sign of amusement among his kind. The conference room was large by human standards but felt cramped to the Kravak squad. More humans waited inside, military officers, scientists, and government officials from various nations, according to their identification badges. Before we begin, Thompson said, I'd like to introduce our diplomatic specialist who will be leading these discussions. She's our foremost expert in conflict resolution and cross-cultural negotiations. Dresik expected another trembling human in formal attire. Instead, the door opened to reveal a female human of average height with copper-colored hair pulled back in a simple style. She wore neither military uniform nor formal diplomatic attire, but practical clothing, cargo pants, boots, and a plain black t-shirt. Most surprising was her demeanor. She showed no fear, only calm assessment as she scanned the room. This is Dr. Luna Reyes, Thompson announced. Razak snorted quietly. They send a female? And not even one of their warriors? Luna approached without hesitation, stopping directly in front of Dresik. Though he towered over her, she didn't crane her neck to look up, instead maintaining a comfortable distance that allowed eye contact without strain. Security Chief Dresik, welcome, she said, her voice clear and steady. I understand you have traveled quite far to meet with us. We appreciate the Galactic Alliance's interest in Earth. Something about her composure irritated Dresik. Where was the awe? The intimidation? Dr. Reyes, I represent the most elite warrior caste in the known galaxy. My species has conquered worlds that would make your military leaders weep. Are you the best representative Earth has to offer? The room tensed. Thompson started to step forward, but Luna raised a hand slightly, stopping him. I understand posturing is important in Kravak culture, she replied with a small smile. But perhaps we could move past the displays of dominance and discuss why you are really here. Dresik blinked all three of his eyelids in succession, a sign of surprise. You claim to know my culture? We have been monitoring your communications for some time, Luna said simply. Your encryption is impressive but not infallible. Please sit. You must be uncomfortable standing in a room designed for our proportions. The Kravak warriors exchanged glances. This was unexpected. You have been monitoring us? Razak hissed, hand instinctively moving toward his weapon. Just as you have been monitoring us, Luna replied, seemingly untroubled by the threatening gesture. Now, shall we discuss this resource extraction agreement you have come to propose? Dresik felt his throat sac inflate, a biological response to challenge. You are either very brave or very foolish human. I'm pragmatic, Luna corrected, and I believe in starting relationships with honesty. You see us as primitive and weak. We see you as potential allies or potential threats. Let's begin there. Dresik laughed, the sound echoing against the walls. Very well. I appreciate directness. Yes, we have come to negotiate terms for establishing a base on your moon and extracting certain rare elements from your planet. In exchange, we offer technological knowledge, carefully regulated, of course. Luna nodded. And if we decline? The conference room grew silent. Dresik leaned forward, his massive frame casting a shadow over the table. That would be unwise. I see, Luna said, reaching for a tablet on the table. Before we continue, I'd like to propose a simple demonstration. A cultural exchange, if you will. On Earth, we often establish relationships through shared experiences. Would you humor me, Security Chief? Dresik glanced at his warriors, who seemed amused by the request. What sort of demonstration? Your species prides itself on physical prowess. I propose a simple contest. Nothing dangerous, just a test of strength and strategy. The Kravak warriors rumbled with laughter. Razak slapped his tail against the floor, a gesture of ridicule. You wish to challenge a Kravak to a test of strength? You? A human female with no armor and no claws. Luna remained unperturbed. Not exactly. I propose a contest of your choosing, followed by one of mine. A fair exchange. Dredzik's interest was piqued. These negotiations were proving more entertaining than expected. Very well, Dr. Reyes. My challenge first. A test of grip strength, simple enough. If you can resist having your hand crushed in mine for 30 of your seconds, I will be impressed. General Thompson stepped forward. Dr. Reyes, I must object. It's fine, General, Luna assured him. I accept the challenge, Security Chief. Dredzik extended one of his 4 hands across the table, palm up. Luna placed her much smaller hand in his, her expression unchanged. Are you certain, human? I can easily break every bone in your hand, Dredzik warned, genuinely curious about her confidence. I'm certain, Luna replied. General, please time 30 seconds. Thompson reluctantly raised his watch. Beginning now. Dredzik closed his scaled fingers around Luna's hand, applying gentle pressure at first, then gradually increasing. He was careful. Breaking her hand would be counterproductive to negotiations, but he wanted to demonstrate his species' superiority. To his surprise, Luna showed no reaction. No wincing, no trembling, not even a change in breathing. He increased the pressure further, enough that any human should be in significant pain. Nothing. 20 seconds, Thompson announced. Dredzik applied more pressure, nearing the point where damage would occur. Still, Luna maintained eye contact, her expression calm. Is something wrong, Security Chief? She asked politely. Irritated, Dredzik squeezed harder, definitely entering painful territory now. Luna's only reaction was a slight raise of her eyebrow. Time, Thompson called. Dredzik released her hand, frustrated and confused. Luna flexed her fingers casually, showing no signs of injury or pain. An impressive demonstration of your strength, she said. Now for my challenge, if you are willing. The Kravak warriors were no longer laughing. Razak leaned forward, studying the human female with new interest. What trickery is this? Dredzik demanded. No human should withstand that pressure without pain. No trickery, Luna assured him. Just preparation. My challenge is simple. I'd like you and your second in command to stand on opposite sides of the room. Dredzik narrowed his eyes but nodded. He and Razak took positions as directed, about 30 feet apart. Now what, human? Razak called, his tail twitching with agitation. Luna stood in the center of the room. Now I demonstrate why sending 7 warriors to negotiate with a supposedly weaker species was your first mistake. What happened next occurred so quickly that the human observers barely followed it. Luna moved with startling speed, reaching into her pocket and flinging something toward each Kravak warrior simultaneously. Small devices attached to their armor and emitted a brief pulse. Dredzik felt his muscles seize. He couldn't move, couldn't speak. From the corner of his eye, he saw his warriors similarly frozen, expressions of shock on their reptilian faces. Luna walked calmly to where Dredzik stood paralyzed. Temporary neuromuscular disruptor, calibrated specifically to Kravak biology. You will regain movement in about 5 minutes, just enough time for me to explain a few things about humans. She circled the immobilized security chief, her voice conversational. You see, while we may lack natural armor or impressive physical strength, humans have something far more dangerous: adaptability and preparation. We have been studying your transmissions for decades, learning your languages, your biology, your weaknesses. Luna stopped in front of him, meeting his frozen gaze. You called yourselves apex predators. That's your second mistake. On Earth, apex predators are often specialists, perfectly evolved for a specific hunting strategy. But humans? We are generalists. We adapt. We prepare. We anticipate. And most importantly, we never negotiate from a position of weakness. The door opened, and more humans entered, these wearing different uniforms, carrying cases of equipment. These are our scientists, Luna explained. While you are temporarily indisposed, they will be taking some readings from your ship and your biology. Just standard procedure when meeting new species. I'm sure you understand. Dredzik could only watch as the humans efficiently moved around the room, scanning the Kravak warriors with various devices, taking samples, examining their armor and equipment. Oh, and we have also deployed a localized dampening field around your ship, Luna added. Standard procedure. Again, it prevents any automated distress signals or weapons systems from activating. We wouldn't want any unfortunate accidents, would we? She checked her watch. You should be regaining muscle control in your extremities right about now. Dredzik felt sensation returning to his fingers and tail. Rage built within him, but also, unexpectedly, respect. When you can speak again, Luna continued, we will discuss those resource extraction rights. I think you will find our terms have changed considerably. We are quite interested in joining the Galactic Alliance, as equals, not subjects. She smiled, and for the first time Dredzik understood why humans might be more dangerous than they appeared. And please let Commander Vokthar know that next time he might want to send diplomats to a diplomatic mission. We humans tend to overreact when threatened. As control returned to his body, Dredzik realized with dawning horror that his mission had been compromised before it even began. The human female hadn't just neutralized his team, she'd broken their pride, their reputation, and possibly their careers in less than 5 minutes. And somehow, the most infuriating part was that she hadn't stopped smiling. The return journey to the Galactic Alliance flagship was conducted in humiliating silence. Dredzik sat rigid in the command chair of the diplomatic vessel, his scales darkened to a deep charcoal, the Kravak equivalent of a flush of shame. No one dared speak. The memory of being immobilized by a single human female, while scientists casually examined them like laboratory specimens, burned in their collective consciousness. Send transmission to Commander Vokthar, Dredzik finally growled as they approached the massive Alliance vessel. Diplomatic contact complicated. Request immediate debriefing. When the Kravak squad disembarked onto the flagship, they found Commander Vokthar waiting, all 4 arms clasped behind his back, mandibles clicking in obvious agitation. Explain, he demanded without preamble. Why did your mission last merely 4 hours when it was scheduled for 3 days? And why, his voice lowered dangerously, did our systems detect unauthorized scans of your vessel's technology? Dredzik straightened his posture, fighting the instinct to lower his head in submission. The humans were prepared for us, Commander. They have been intercepting our communications. They knew our intentions before we landed. Vokthar's multifaceted eyes widened. Impossible. Their technological capabilities are centuries behind ours. Apparently not, Razak interjected, then flinched when Vokthar's gaze snapped to him. They deployed localized field disruptors calibrated specifically to Kravak neurobiology. They neutralized our entire squad in seconds. Silence fell over the hangar bay as the implications sank in. Lieutenant Pax, who had been quietly observing from the sidelines, stepped forward, her tail curled tightly around one leg, a sign of anxiety among her species. Commander, if I may? Our xenopsychology team warned that humans might exhibit unexpected defensive capabilities. Their historical records show a species that compensates for physical limitations with technological innovation and tactical thinking. Why wasn't I informed of this assessment? Vokthar demanded. Pax's ears flattened. With respect, sir, we submitted 3 separate reports. You dismissed them as excessive caution. Vokthar's throat sac inflated in anger before deflating suddenly. What exactly happened down there, Dredzik? Complete report, no omissions. Dredzik recounted the encounter, from the initial landing to Luna Reyes's demonstration of human preparedness. With each detail, Volkthar's posture grew more rigid. They took biological samples, scanned our technology, and you were helpless to prevent this? The commander's voice was deadly quiet. Yes, Commander Dredzik admitted. The human female, Dr. Reyes, she said something else. She mentioned that they want to join the alliance, but as equals, not subjects. And she instructed me to inform you that next time, you should send actual diplomats. Volkthar slammed one fist against the wall, leaving a dent in the metal. Insolence. The council must be informed immediately. This changes our entire strategy. The council meeting chamber aboard the flagship was designed to accommodate representatives from all 17 species of the Galactic Alliance. Volkthar, Dredzik, and Pax stood before the semicircular arrangement of seats, facing the scrutiny of the most powerful beings in known space. My counselor Gen VA, a luminescent being composed primarily of organized energy contained within an environmental suit, spoke first. Commander Volkthar, your report is troubling. You claim these humans, a pre-warp civilization, not only neutralized your elite warriors but also extracted valuable intelligence? Yes, High Counselor, Volkthar confirmed, his voice modulated to hide his embarrassment. It appears the humans have been monitoring our communications for decades, possibly since our first scout ships entered their solar system. Counselor Mev, a small but ancient being with translucent skin revealing complex circulatory systems beneath, leaned forward. Lieutenant Pax, your xenopsychology team suggested caution in approaching these humans. Elaborate on your findings. Pax stepped forward, activating a holographic display. Counselor's human history reveals a species with remarkable adaptive capacity. While physically unimposing compared to many spacefaring races, they show unusual psychological traits. They thrive under pressure. They anticipate threats. Most concerning. They prepare for worst-case scenarios with unexpected thoroughness. The hologram shifted to display historical human conflicts, technological advancements, and cultural artifacts. In less than 3 centuries, they progressed from primitive combustion engines to rudimentary space exploration. Their fictional entertainment frequently depicts encounters with hostile alien species, scenarios they have been mentally rehearsing for generations. This suggests they have been preparing for first contact long before we arrived. That doesn't explain how they intercepted our communications, interrupted Counselor Drav, a hulking insectoid. Our encryption is the most sophisticated in the galaxy. Perhaps not anymore, Pax suggested quietly. A murmur ran through the council chamber. Volkthar shifted uncomfortably. High Counselor Gen VA's environmental suit pulsed with changing colors, a sign of deep contemplation. What do these humans want? Resources? Territory? Protection? According to their representative, they wish to join the alliance as equals, Dredzik answered. Laughter erupted from several counselors. Drav's mandibles clicked rapidly in amusement. Equals? A single-planet species with barely functional spacecraft? What could they possibly contribute to the alliance? Pax cleared her throat. Actually, based on what we have observed, they might offer significant contributions in adaptive technology, cryptography, and strategic planning. Their approach to problems differs fundamentally from ours. Where we might apply overwhelming force, they develop targeted countermeasures. Regardless, Volkthar interjected, they have compromised our security and insulted our authority. We must respond decisively. High Counselor Jean VA's suit pulsed red, a warning. What exactly are you proposing, Commander? Before Volkthar could respond, an urgent alert sounded throughout the chamber. A communications officer burst in, mandibles twitching in distress. High Counselor, we are receiving a transmission from Earth. They are requesting to address the Council directly. Impossible. Volkthar exclaimed. They don't have our communications protocols. Apparently they do, sir, the officer replied nervously. And they are broadcasting on our secure channel. The Council erupted in chaos. Gen VA raised all 4 appendages, commanding silence. Put them through. Let us hear what these resourceful humans have to say. The central holographic display flickered, then stabilized to reveal a human face, Dr. Luna Reyes, seated calmly at what appeared to be a simple desk. Behind her stood General Thompson and several other humans in various uniforms and formal attire. Greetings, High Counselor Gen VA and esteemed members of the Galactic Alliance Council, Luna began, her pronunciation of the alien names flawless. I apologize for the unconventional nature of this communication, but after our meeting with Security Chief Dredzik, we felt direct dialogue would be more productive. The council chamber fell silent. Dredzik felt his throat sac constrict in shock. How did she know the High Counselor's name? How was she broadcasting directly to their secure chamber? As you can see, Luna continued with a slight smile, we have made some progress in adapting your communication technologies to our needs. This is just one small example of humanity's approach to new challenges. High Counselor Jean VA's environmental suit pulsed with rapid color changes. Dr. Reyes, your actions could be interpreted as hostile. Intercepting secure communications, neutralizing our diplomatic delegation, extracting biological samples without consent, these are serious violations of interstellar protocol. Luna nodded. From your perspective, I understand how our actions might seem aggressive. However, from our viewpoint, sending a squad of elite warriors instead of diplomats could also be interpreted as hostile. We simply responded in kind, with preparation rather than aggression. Vokthar stepped forward, unable to contain himself. You have violated Alliance security. You have stolen technological data. You will surrender all obtained information immediately or face. Commander Vokthar, Luna interrupted, her voice still calm but with a new edge. Before making threats, you should know that we have placed several small devices on your flagship during the examination of the Kravak delegation's equipment. These devices are currently dormant, but if activated, they would temporarily disable your primary systems, much like the personal disruptors we demonstrated earlier. The council chamber erupted again. Security officers rushed to terminals, initiating emergency scans. This is an act of war, Counselor Drav declared, his exoskeleton rattling in agitation. Luna shook her head. No, this is a negotiating position. The devices will remain dormant as long as Earth is not threatened. We have no desire for conflict, quite the opposite. We are simply ensuring that these discussions take place between equals. Pax stepped closer to the hologram, her scientific curiosity overriding protocol. How did you develop countermeasures to our technology so quickly? Your civilization was categorized as pre-warp, barely interplanetary. Lieutenant Pax, correct? Luna smiled. Your xenopsychology reports were quite insightful, by the way. To answer your question, humans understand asymmetrical engagement. When faced with a technologically superior opponent, we don't try to match their capabilities, we identify and target vulnerabilities. She leaned forward slightly. For the past 60 years, since we detected your first scout ships entering our solar system, we have been preparing, studying your transmissions, learning your languages, analyzing the electromagnetic signatures of your vessels. We formed a global task force dedicated to preparing for this moment. The security officer approached Vokthar, whispering urgently. The commander's scales paled to a sickly gray. "My counselor," Vokthar said quietly, "our scans confirm foreign devices attached to critical junctions throughout the ship. Attempting to remove them could trigger their activation." High Counselor Jane VA's environmental suit stabilized to a steady blue glow, a sign that a decision had been reached. "Dr. Reyes, while your methods are unconventional, they have certainly captured our attention. What does Earth want from this interaction?" Luna's expression softened slightly. "What we have always wanted, to join the broader galactic community. To learn, to trade, to share knowledge. But we will only do so as equals, with our sovereignty and security guaranteed." She gestured to the people standing behind her. "This is a unified Earth delegation, representing all our nations. We are prepared to negotiate terms for joining the alliance that benefit all parties involved." And the devices on our ship? Counselor Drav demanded. Consider them a temporary insurance policy, Luna replied. Once formal diplomatic relations are established and treaties signed, we will provide the deactivation codes. As a show of good faith, I'm transmitting the locations of each device now, so your security teams can verify they won't cause permanent damage. Data streamed across the holographic display, showing precise schematics of the flagship with the devices clearly marked. Counselor Zhen VA turned to confer with the other council members in hushed tones. After several minutes of intense discussion, the council leader turned back to the hologram. Dr. Reyes, the council recognizes Earth's unique approach to first contact. While unorthodox, your actions demonstrate capabilities and thinking that could indeed prove valuable to the Alliance. We are willing to open formal diplomatic negotiations. Luna bowed her head slightly. We appreciate your wisdom, High Counselor. However, Gen VA continued, environmental suit pulsing yellow in warning, any future actions that threaten Alliance security will be met with the full force of our combined capabilities. This one-time demonstration will be overlooked in the interest of peaceful relations, but it must not be repeated. Understood, Luna replied. We have no desire for conflict. Our tactics were defensive, not aggressive. Very well. We will dispatch a proper diplomatic delegation to Earth within 3 standard cycles. No warriors this time, Gen VA added, with a pointed look at Volk Thar. Lieutenant Pax will lead the delegation, given her apparent understanding of human psychology. Pax's whiskers twitched in surprise, but she bowed in acceptance of the assignment. We look forward to welcoming Lieutenant Pax and her team, Luna said. And to demonstrate our genuine desire for peaceful relations, I'm transmitting the deactivation code for one of the devices now, specifically, the one affecting your long-range communications array. Consider it a gesture of trust. The data appeared on the holographic display. Security officers immediately verified it, confirming that one device had indeed powered down. Until we meet in person, High Counselor Luna concluded with a respectful nod before the transmission ended. The council chamber remained silent for several long moments after the hologram disappeared. Well, Counselor Mev finally said, his translucent skin flushing with color that was unexpected. Volkthar turned to Pax, his earlier arrogance notably diminished. Lieutenant, it seems you will be leading our next contact mission. What recommendations do you have for approaching these humans? Pax's whiskers twitched thoughtfully. First, Commander, I suggest we revise our classification of Earth immediately. They are clearly not a pre-warp civilization in any meaningful sense. Their technological applications, while different from ours, are highly sophisticated. She activated a personal datapad, making notes rapidly. Second, I recommend consulting our historical archives for precedents of species who developed along unusual technological paths. The Nuvari, perhaps, or the Tellurian Collective. And third, she continued, looking directly at Drezek, we should approach with genuine diplomatic intentions. No displays of strength, no posturing, no assumptions of superiority. The humans have demonstrated they respond poorly to intimidation but seem open to respectful exchange. Counselor Zane VA's environmental suit had settled into a calm green hue. Agreed. Lieutenant Pax, you have full authority to assemble your diplomatic team. Choose carefully, it seems our newest potential allies are full of surprises. Drezek stepped forward hesitantly. High Counselor, I request permission to join Lieutenant Pax's delegation. I have much to learn about diplomacy, it seems. Surprised murmurs rippled through the chamber. The Kravak were not known for admitting shortcomings. Gen VA studied him for a moment before nodding. Granted, Security Chief. Perhaps this experience has been educational for all of us. 3 cycles later, as Lieutenant Pax's diplomatic vessel approached Earth, Drezek stood at the viewport, watching the blue-green planet grow larger. Beside him, Pax was reviewing her notes one final time. You seem troubled, Security Chief, she observed, whiskers twitching. Drezek's scales shifted color slightly. I underestimated them completely. We all did. How could a species so physically vulnerable develop such effective countermeasures? Pax closed her datapad. Perhaps vulnerability is precisely what drove their innovation. They evolved on a planet filled with predators larger and stronger than themselves, yet became the dominant species. And not through physical superiority, but through adaptability, cooperation, and tool use. She gestured toward the approaching planet. Think about it. A species without natural weapons or armor must become proficient at creating artificial ones. A species that can't outrun predators must learn to trap them. Species that can't survive extreme environments must engineer solutions. So their weakness became their strength, Dredzik mused. An interesting perspective. Exactly, Pax agreed. And there's something else to consider. The human, Dr. Reyes, she could have used those disruptors for much more than temporary immobilization. She could have taken hostages, demanded technology, even caused permanent harm. But she didn't. Your point? My point is that despite their defensive capabilities, they chose restraint. That suggests a species we might actually want as allies rather than subjects. Pax's whiskers twitched in what Dredzik had come to recognize as her equivalent of a smile. Besides, I'm curious to learn more about this humor concept they mentioned. Apparently, their ability to laugh in the face of danger is one of their most unusual psychological traits. The ship's communication system chimed, announcing their approach to Earth's orbital space station, where the formal diplomatic reception would take place. As they prepared to disembark, Dredzik found himself unexpectedly anxious. Not from fear of another embarrassment, but from something he rarely experienced: genuine curiosity about another species. "Lieutenant," he said as they walked toward the airlock, "what was that human saying you mentioned earlier?" "The one about assumptions?" Pax's ears perked up. "Ah, yes, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me." Rather clever wordplay in their language. "It seems particularly relevant to our first encounter." Dredzik nodded slowly. "Indeed. Perhaps there's wisdom in their strange sayings after all." The airlock hissed open, revealing a reception committee led by Dr. Luna Reyes, now dressed in formal diplomatic attire. She stepped forward with a warm smile and extended her hand, a human greeting gesture they had studied in preparation. "Lieutenant Pax, Security Chief Dredzik, welcome to Earth, officially this time." As Dredzik carefully took her small hand in his massive one, he noticed something he'd missed during their first encounter, a gleam of humor in her eyes, despite the seriousness of the occasion. And for the first time, he understood why an apex predator might have reason to fear a species that had learned to laugh in the face of danger. Not because they were reckless, but because their laughter represented something truly dangerous, the confidence of a species that had already imagined the worst and prepared for it. "Thank you, Dr. Reyes," he replied formally. "I believe we have much to learn from each other." Her smile widened. "More than you can imagine, Security Chief. More than you can imagine." Behind them, the massive Alliance vessel hung in Earth's orbit, its weapons systems still disabled by tiny human devices. A constant reminder that in the vast game of galactic politics, appearances could be deceiving, and the most dangerous predators weren't always the ones with the sharpest claws.